Hello viewers, welcome to UVol, the channel for database and data professionals. In this tutorial, I am going to demonstrate how to create a virtual machine with free Windows 11 64-bit Enterprise Edition for conducting your experiments not only with database softwares, but others also made for Microsoft Windows platform. So viewers, I'm sure you know how useful a Windows PC can be in many situations when you want to install a piece of software or a game or test something that needs a Microsoft Windows platform, but your laptop or desktop has a different platform like an Apple Mac or a Linux unsupported for your purpose. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a virtual machine and install free Windows 11 Enterprise Edition 64-bit. I have installed the release 7 of the Oracle VirtualBox software, which is the latest now, to create my VMs on a 64-bit Windows 10 Enterprise Edition desktop that I am using as a host. Oracle VirtualBox software is free and supported in any of the mostly used desktop platforms like Windows, Mac, or Linux, or even in Solaris. The download link for the software is given in the video description, and I also have a full series of tutorials on Oracle VirtualBox Virtual Machines, starting from how to install it, create and manage virtual machines, etc. If you want, you can watch the full series and create your own virtual IT lab to learn database, Unix, Linux, networking, or any other area in the IT world where you want to be an expert. Now let's start with creating a Windows 11 Enterprise Edition virtual machine. And the first step is to download Windows 11 Enterprise Edition ISO image from Microsoft. First, let's search for this download Windows 11 Enterprise Edition, and in the search result, right click on this first one, that is Evaluation Center Windows 11 Enterprise, and open it in a new tab. And then in this page, Windows 11 Enterprise, under the Get Started for Free section, I will select this link, download the ISO Windows 11 Enterprise. And in the next page, it is going to ask for some of your personal information like the first name, last name, email, company name, which I'm keeping as personal, country as United States, company size as 1, and job role also personal because I'm downloading this just for my personal learning purpose. Then the phone number, questions, comments, I'm keeping it blank. And you can check this box if you want your information to be shared with Microsoft partners. I am keeping it unchecked, and then I will click on this Download Now button. Then in this screen, under the English United States ISO Enterprise Download section, I am going to select this 64-bit edition, click on that link, and the download will immediately start. And if we click on that, we'll be able to see that the size of the download is around 5 gigs, which is going to take 3 minutes. For me, based on your internet speed, this time will vary. As I have already downloaded this ISO image, so I'm going to stop this. Please make a note of the download location because we are going to use this ISO image file for the Windows installation in our virtual machine. So I will cancel this. Now to create the virtual machine, let's go back to our VirtualBox console. And as you can see, I have a lot of virtual machines and they are put in different groups. Don't worry about these groups as of now. And to create the virtual machine, we'll first click on this machine menu, and under that, press the new option, and we'll put a name like Win11 EE, that stands for Enterprise Edition, and the folder selected by default is D:virtual machines for my setup. If you want, you can change it to a location which has ample amount of space. I suggest at least 60 to 70 gigs, but for me this location is fine. The ISO image, I'm not selecting this as of now, but we are going to do that shortly. And in the type, Microsoft Windows version Windows 11 64-bit. Don't worry about this skip unattended installation. Anyway, this is grayed out. And then we'll directly go to this hardware section. And in the hardware section, we see the base memory selected is 4 gigs by default. This is good for Windows 11 installation. And as you can see in my host machine, I have around 200 gigs of physical memory available. Again, in your case, if you have a lot of physical memory, you can increase it or even decrease it, but 4 gigs is a good size. Then the processors selected by default is 2, As you can see, I have 32 CPUs available in the host machine. In your case, if it is available, you can even increase it to 3 or 4, or at least keep 2. That is what I suggest. Then enable EFI, that stands for Extensible Firmware Interface. This is enabled by default. Then under the hard disk section, we can see the full path of the virtual disk that it is going to create with the name win11ee.vdi. And the size selected by default is 80 gigs for Windows 11. Let's keep it that way. Again, you can reduce it by a little, like 60 or 70, but I suggest you keep it at least 60 gigs for the virtual disk. Then we see the hard disk file type. Under this section, we have a couple of options there. And this VDI format is the best one because it has a lot of flexibility and portability. So we are keeping the VDI option, that is VirtualBox Disk Image. Then pre-allocate full size. We are not going to check this. If we do that, then this entire 80 gigs will be allocated now. But if you keep it unchecked, then the file will grow as we use it. The other two options we are not selecting at this time. If we need, we can add even more virtual disks to this virtual machine in the future. And with this basic information, we will click on the Finish button. And we have to set a couple of more configurations in the settings for this virtual machine. So when it is selected, we will press this Settings button. And there are a lot of sections and options available. I'm not showing all of them. I'm going to show only the ones where we are going to make any changes. Name, type, and version already selected. Then we will directly go to Systems section. And under that, I will remove the floppy option from the boot order because we no more use the floppy option. Then under the extended features, I am unselecting this Enable Secure Boot option. Then we'll go to the storage section. And under that, we see there is one SATA controller and there is a hard disk that we already selected, and the optical drive is currently empty. And this is where we are going to attach the ISO image that we downloaded. So when this is selected, we will press this optical drive icon in the right, and then from there we will select the Choose a Disk File, this particular option. And then we will browse to the location where we have downloaded our ISO image from Microsoft. So I have kept it in a directory called Win11 Enterprise. So I'm going to select this ISO image and then press the Open button. Then we'll go to the network section, and under that we see the first adapter is enabled by default and it is attached to NAT, that stands for Network Address Translation. We are not going to use this option. We have to use actually the bridged adapter, this particular option. Make sure that you select only this option. Then the name will be selected automatically based on what kind of network interface card you have installed in your host machine. Then under the advanced section, we see this promiscuous mode, and we will change it from deny to allow all for now. And rest of the things will keep as it is. And with these settings, I will press the OK button to save it. And now we are ready to start our virtual machine. And to do that, when the virtual machine is selected, we will press this Start button. And as we can see in the right hand side, the VM is powering up. It will take a couple of seconds to give us the initial screen of the VM. And it is coming up. Press any key to boot from the CD or DVD. Press Enter. Let's put it in the middle. It is going to take a few seconds to boot from the ISO image. So I will fast forward the video and I'll resume time to time when there is something worth to be mentioned or I'm making any changes to save time. So the initial Windows 11 setup screen has come up, and language to install by default it is taking English United States, time and currency English United States. We are okay with that. Press Next. Keyboard US. Press Next. Under the setup option, I would like to install Windows 11. This first option is applicable for us. We are not going to repair this PC, And then we have to check this box. I agree everything will be deleted, including files, apps, and settings, to have this button enabled for us. Now we can click on the next button, and we have to accept the license agreement. And the virtual disk that we attached to this virtual machine with 80 gig size is selected by default. We don't have to worry about formatting or creating partitions because Windows will take care of that automatically. So we will simply select the next button. So we are ready to install, and this is what the setup is going to do: install Windows 11 Enterprise Evaluation and keep nothing. So this evaluation version will be good for 3 months. And I believe that 3 months is enough for you to do any experiments with Windows 11. And after that, if you want, you can activate it or leave it like that. So we'll press the install button. As expected, Windows installation is quite simple, straightforward, and most of the things it will do automatically. Currently 10% is complete. So I will fast forward and resume the video time to time whenever there is something worth to be mentioned or I am making any changes. The installation is going to take around 10 minutes based on your system's performance. Of course, 50% complete, and as we can see, the PC will restart several times in between during this installation. 75% complete, and now we can see the message saying your PC will restart in a few moments. Virtual machine is restarting, and this time we don't have to worry about the boot order because the Windows is installed on the hard disk and it is going to boot from the hard disk itself. So the installation is still in progress. As we can see, it is 0% now. In the previous steps, the setup has actually copied all the Windows files to the virtual hard drive. 33% complete. The VM is restarting again for the second time. 94% complete. We are almost there. Now, Windows has given us the installation specific settings, and the country selected by default is United States. We are okay with that. Press the yes button. Keyboard layout, again US. Press the yes button. Want to add a second keyboard? Skip. Let it check for updates. Now we arrived at the Microsoft sign-in option. Actually, you don't have to specify any sign-in email ID here, and rather we'll go to the sign-in options. And then we'll select this domain join instead, this particular option. And then we need to put the owner of this PC or the virtual machine. You can put your name, and the name should represent who is going to use this device. So I will put a local admin user who is going to be the administrator of this virtual machine. So I'll put like local admin and then click next. And the password, I will put a simple one that I can remember, that is welcome 1 2 3 4 5. Click next. Again confirm the password, welcome 1 2 3 4 5. Then it will ask for some security questions, and again I will put something that I can remember. I recommend you put something that is relevant for you. For the first security question, I'm selecting what was your first pet's name. I will simply put AAA. Press enter. For the second question, I am going to select what is the name of the city where you were born. I'm again putting BBB. Press enter. For the third question, I'm selecting what was your childhood nickname, and I'm putting as CCC, and then we can press the next button. And under the privacy settings for your device, you can turn these options on or off as per your choice. I'm turning off the location service and the find my device also. Let's scroll down. Diagnostic data, I'm switching it off. Inking and typing, switching it off. Tailored experience, switching it off. Advertising ID, switching it off. And then I will click on the accept button. Then again it will check for Windows updates. based on the selections that we have made. And as we can see, the Windows update is in progress, which is again going to take a couple of minutes based on your internet speed. In the meantime, if you want, you can take a look at a couple of new features introduced in Windows 11. As we can see, only 1% of the updates have been downloaded so far. So it is going to take a couple of minutes again, and I will pause the video and I'll come back once these steps are completed. 99% of the download has been completed. Download has been completed, and currently it is in the step 2 of installing the updates. 95% of the updates have been installed. So all the updates have been applied and it is restarting for the third time. And it has actually applied a lot of updates, which is not yet done. And it is restarting for the fourth time. Okay, so after around 25 minutes and 4 restarts, it has given us the initial nice blue screen of Windows 11. Let's maximize this window. And here we have to send the Control-Alt-Delete key combination to get the login prompt. Our host keyboard and the virtual machine keyboard is not yet synchronized. So go to the bottom right corner, and in this down arrow button, we will right click and send the insert Control-Alt-Del, this particular key combination. And we see the login prompt is there for the local admin user that we created. And we will put the password that we set as welcome 12345. And we see the greetings message from Windows 11 for the first time. Again, it is going to take a few more minutes to finalize the settings. We'll just allow it to do and finish its work. And finally, Windows 11 installation is now complete. Now, if you see, the interface of this virtual machine is shown in a window, and even if we maximize this window, we don't get a full screen. To resolve this issue, we have to install something called VirtualBox Guest Editions for Windows. And this is a piece of software that comes with the VirtualBox that gives us better integration with the host and the guest machine in terms of the keyboard, graphics, etc. and even the mouse pointer movement. And also you can share files and folders between the host machine and the guest machine, etc. To install the VirtualBox Guest Edition, we will click on the Devices menu of the virtual machine. Then we will select this Insert Guest Editions CD image. So the CD image is internally attached to the CD drive. Now we have to open the Windows File Explorer, and then we will scroll down and select the CD drive to list out all the files. And in this list of files, there are a lot of different setup options for the VirtualBox Guest Edition available. And because this is a 64-bit Windows installation, so we have to select this VBox Windows Editions. So double click on the setup for the VirtualBox Guest Edition. Click yes for the confirmation to start the setup for VirtualBox Guest Edition. Let's close the Explorer window. And this installation of Guest Edition is going to take hardly a minute. So we will just press the next button. And the default installation location, that is C:\program files, is okay. And click the next button. Then install. There will be a couple of flickerings in between. This is because of the graphic driver enhancement being done for the VirtualBox virtual machine. And that is done. And it will ask for a reboot for the changes to take effect. And when the reboot now option is selected, we will click on the finish button. So this is going to be the 5th restart of our virtual machine before we get it in a fully usable state. And we'll log in as local admin again. Welcome 12345 as the password. Now we need to do a couple of more settings to get the full screen of the virtual machine. First, right click on the desktop and go to display settings, and under the display settings options we'll go to display resolution and we'll select a much higher resolution like 1280 by 960 and click on the keep changes, close this window, and then we will just resize this virtual machine window for one time, and there we go. We are able to see the full screen of the virtual machine. Again, the virtual machine console is displayed in a window, and if you want to see it in a full screen in the monitor, then you go to view and then from there select the full screen mode, which will give us the full screen in the monitor for the virtual machine. You can toggle between the full screen and the windowed screen of the virtual machine. Just go to the bottom menu, which comes up if you put the mouse cursor over there, and from there you can select this view option, and under that select the full screen mode. That will toggle it off. And also you can use the host F button. So this is the windowed version. So now your virtual machine is 100% ready with 64-bit Windows 11 Enterprise Edition installed. You can play around, install softwares, games, or anything you like which is supported in the Windows platform, and learn Windows 11 to your best. So viewers, please provide your feedback in the comment section of the video and hit the like button if you found it useful. That will mean a lot to me and help grow this channel.